Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all for the second day of the workshop. Today, the major focus is on ERP. Ladies and gentlemen, without much ado, I now take the honor of inviting our resource person S. Anand Prasad Garu in our midst. Before listening from him, I request Manju Bhargavi, lecturer from Computer Science Department, to give you a brief introduction of our resource person. Over to Bhargavi.
Thank you, Lata ma'am. Let me at the outset welcome you all to this online workshop on Oracle Financials. The Introduction to Oracle Financials workshop will take you through an overview of the business benefits and capabilities of Oracle Financials. Oracle Financials applications are a subset Oracle e-business suite and a family of products designed to capture and analyze financial data on a worldwide basis. We can use Oracle financial applications to better manage business to the targets that are announced to investors. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure to introduce today's resource person, Mr. S. Anand Prasad, who, in spite of his busy schedule, agreed to our request to enlighten us all on this topic. Mr. S. Anand Prasad completed his MCA from St. Paul's PG College, Hyderabad. He has 23 years of work experience in Oracle ERP, worked on various implementation projects through big IT MNCs. He also has number of certificate courses to his credit in his illustrious career. To name a few, he is a recipient of the following certifications: Function Point Champion, Green Belt Certified, ISO 9000 Security Audit Participation Certificate, CMM V3.0 Participation Certificate, CMM V5.0 Participation Certificate. I am sure his vast real experience on this topic and ever willingness to share it among others will inspire many to pursue a career in this field. The participants, many of whom are totally new to ERPs, will be able to appreciate its importance in today's digital world. The main resource of trust for this workshop are: understand past, present, and future of Oracle ERP. Understand key differences between different kind of Oracle ERP projects. Understand some of the tools and techniques used in Oracle ERP projects. Understand some business flows in organizations. Understand Oracle Finance and how it's used in organizations. Participants will be able to articulate the life cycle stages of Oracle ERP implementation. Participants will be able to apply the knowledge during any implementation. Students will be able to attend interviews confidently with the gained knowledge. Participants will gain an insight of the real-time implementation components. An insight will be given of the financial modules and relationship between them. And now I hand over this session to Mr. S. Anand Prasad. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, everybody. And it's my pleasure to be here. Natharani madam first spoke to me. I was excited. I said, it's a brilliant idea. Go ahead and plan it. I'm ready. So, very good college. I saw the video, very good premises, a big college. I would have loved to come there and give this presentation, but anyway, we don't have other option during this time. So, good morning to staff, the computer staff, the management, students, and everybody. I would love to share my experience, and there is a lot to talk and a lot to share. So let me jump into the topics right away. So we have broken these sessions into two parts. The first part is about the concepts, and the second part is the real-time things what we do in the organization. So before getting into the real-time things, these concepts are very important such that we understand it better. Tomorrow we'll take it on the Oracle Financials, and we'll get in depth of the Oracle Financial modules. And I have picked up one module which students can understand, so we can understand that module in detail. So let me start with ERP concepts. This is today's agenda. We'll start with history of ERP, ERP products in the market, what is ERP, what are the advantages and disadvantages, the past, present and future of ERP, project types, implementation types, pricing models, implementation phases, Oracle ERP skill sets, which is important for the students, and at the end, question and answers. Let us take the same approach which Satish has taken yesterday. After a few topics, I will stop. You can ask questions, I will answer, and then we'll continue with other topics. At the end, we'll keep a separate session for QA, and I would like to answer as many as possible. Hello. Yeah. Please go on mute, please, if you're not speaking. So let us start with history of ERP. How this all started. This started in 1960. That time it's not called ERP. Some programmers in some companies started writing some programs. They started writing some programs to manage regular bookkeeping activities in inventory. In inventory, excuse me, can you please go on with please? Hello.
ప్రొఫెసర్ ఏమన్నారంటే అదే టెంప్లెట్ వాడతారేమో వాడని విశ్వనాథ్ అన్నారు. పర్మిషన్
Hello, can you go on mute please? Hello.
దీనికి ఈ స్లైడర్ దానికి మళ్ళీ ఒక గంట కూర్చుంటే వచ్చింది. నేను వేరే మోడల్ స్లైడర్ యూజ్ చేసాను. లైక్
Hello. Can you please inform others to go on mute? Okay. So this all started in 1960. Couple of programmers started writing some basic bookkeeping activities in inventory. Then in 1970s, what happened? Some more programs were written, and it was extended to material requirement planning in the sense that some materials are required for the inventory. So for those also they have extended those programs in 1970s. This is when it actually picked up, the ERP has picked up. They understood the value of it, and they felt that a lot of things can be done and a lot of processes can be improved. So this is when the Oracle, the SAP, the BON, all these guys jumped in. They sensed a huge opportunity in this, and they felt they can make this big. So in 1980s, it started again in manufacturing requirement planning. So first it was inventory, and then how the requirement for the inventory, and now it is manufacturing. So manufacturing uses a lot of components, inventory components. So it all started with manufacturing. So this ERP has evolved not from finance, not from HR. It has evolved from manufacturing. In 1990s, this has picked up. By this time, till 1990s, most of the systems were on mainframes. It was huge, only big companies are using it, and high cost maintenance. By 1990s, these hardware companies also jumped in. They started marketing these personal computers, faster chips. Intel has started the chip development. The hard disk with higher capacity started, and the client server thing picked up in 90s. So all the mainframe guys who are on mainframe slowly started shifting on to client server. Maybe you already know about client server things, so I will not explain that. So this is a huge shift from 80s to 90s, where the mainframe guys, all the mainframe systems moved on to client server systems. So when the client server things have come in, smaller organizations started using it. Now, by that time, every organization started using ERP. In 2000s, this internet thing has come, internet boom has come. So everybody started hosting their applications on internet. Internet in the sense that they started using these browsers. Earlier it was just a standalone application where they had to click and enter into the ERP. From 2000, with this internet, this browser thing has come. They started accessing the applications using browsers, internet and all that. And now it's all cloud. From 1980s to 1990, the shift, whatever has happened, it's a major shift. It's a huge business. That is when Indian IT industry has also grown during that time. So that shift, we can again see it now with cloud. So we'll get into more cloud things. Yesterday Satish has covered a lot of cloud things. So, but I'll be specifically covering the cloud ERP things. So guys, now all the ERP systems are moving on to cloud. Till some time, they had a plan to move cloud. Eventually, everybody will move to cloud. But when, how much money they should spend and all that, they were planning. Not everybody were ready. Some of them were skeptical about the financial data and the sensitive data and cloud and all that. With this COVID thing, people started feeling that it is a necessity. Now there is no way other than going to cloud to cut the cost and improve the processes without people's involvement. That's how this cloud ERP is picking up now. These are a couple of ERP products in the market. Oracle, SAP, these are the giants in ERP. These guys were in the business since 1980s, 90s. Client server thing they picked up. That is when they made a lot of business. These guys are expertise in one of the areas. Like Oracle is very good at finance and supply chain. SAP is very good at manufacturing, because SAP was developed by the programmers who are sitting in the Germany in a manufacturing plant. So SAP has a strong manufacturing background, whereas Oracle has strong finance, HR and supply chain background. They are ruling the world. With this cloud, Salesforce, Workday kind of things have come. These guys entered the market. These guys are cloud market. Salesforce is CRM and Workday is all HR. So these guys are also making big now in these times. So to understand ERP, we need to understand the business. This ERP is tightly coupled with the business. These guys, they don't do anything different. These guys do what business does. These guys improve the organization business processes and help the organization to concentrate on the business rather than on the regular bookkeeping. Now they have powerful tools like analytics and Power BI and all that, where it will allow the organizations to take decisions. So this ERP is tightly coupled with the business. If you don't know how the organization works, if you don't know how the business processes are, then it is difficult to understand ERP. So first, to understand ERP, we have to understand an organization and how they work. So we can majorly categorize these things into functional areas of operation and business processes. I will get into that in my next slide. So what is functional areas? The organization will have different departments. It can be marketing and sales, it can be supply chain, it can be account and finance, human resources. So each company has one or more departments. Some manufacturing companies have manufacturing plants. Some sales who do just sales may not have manufacturing. For example, if you take Airtel, they don't have a manufacturing plant. It's a service industry. For example, a software industry. Software industry doesn't have a manufacturing plant. It's a service industry. So every organization will have some modules in common and some departments which are not there in their business. So the basic module concept has come from these functional areas. Now let us understand what is business functions. In each functional areas, what people do is they do some specific activities in each of these functional areas. That is nothing but a business function. For example, these are all the, you can call it the functional areas. You have sales and marketing, CRM, finance, manufacturing, HR, supply chain, purchasing, and project management. So we'll understand deeper what a business function is and what a functional area of operation is. As I already explained, the functional area is marketing, sales, accounting and finance, human resources, all these things. These are nothing but departments. We can call a department. And business function. Each of these departments again are divided into some specific functions. For example, in human resources, not everybody will do the same job. Some people do training, some people conduct training, some people conduct recruiting and hiring, some people take care of the payroll, so the salaries they pay and all that. Some people in the HR department take care of the benefits. Benefits are the ones, car allowance, insurance, Sodexo cards, all these things come under benefits. So some people take care of that, and some people take care of the government policies, which are tightly followed by all these organizations. So not everybody in the department do the same job. In bigger organizations, there is a strict segregation of duties. Accordingly, they do their work. So these modules have further divided. Earlier it was just HR. HR had recruiting, hiring, training, payroll, benefits, everything HR had. Then slowly they have broken down into pieces because, for example, an organization may not be handling too much of training. They are not into too much of training, so they don't need that much huge training module. So these companies, what they have done, they have understood these business function requirements and they have broken down such that they can sell it in bits and pieces. For example, you need not sell the whole HR to an organization. You can sell only parts of HR to an organization. So the business functional area is, you can call it as a department, and a business function is what set of people do and what set of people are responsible to execute a particular business function. This is very important to understand ERP. Now, we have understood what is functional area. We have understood what is a business function. Now let us understand what is a business process. Business process is a flow. We also call it as a business flow, which cuts across the business areas involving more than one business function. So it cuts across the sales, accounting, purchasing, production, logistics. These are all different things. So a process can be then cover all the departments and with a set of business functions. For example, we'll take customer order process. These sales guys, what they do, they go into the market and they start selling the things. They book the orders for the organizations. When the order is booked, for example, let us take Honda cars. So those guys, they market the car sales and all that, and they book an order. When they book an order, you have to pay money. you have to pay some advance, or you will take a car loan. That is when the money comes into picture, that is when the accounting and finance department come into picture. When a guy books a Honda car, he has to pay some advance, or he has to and book it. So when the accounting department, finance department receives that money, that is when they start processing the order. They start processing the order, and they give it to the production department. Production department manufacture. They may not specifically manufacture your car. They will manufacture in bulk some 1,000 cars. So one of the car will be allotted to you. So these guys pass on the information to the production department that we have another order in place. So hope you're producing. Once it is produced and once it is out of the manufacturing plant, the logistic teams takes over. Logistic teams are the responsible for the delivery and packing and doing all that stuff. For example, I can book a car and I can say that this is a gift to my friend who is in Bangalore. So ship the car to the Bangalore. So I can book the car here and I can have it delivered in Bangalore. Such things also these guys take. So this whole thing where the booking the order, the receiving the money, informing the production department, and checking whether they have the cars in place to promise to the customer. Sometimes that they may not have ready, so they have to produce it. So they will say their waiting time is, for new models, the waiting time is 6 months. So they'll inform all that data, they give all that data productions as that they can plan and they can produce. And the logistic team take care of the shipment and delivery. Here, if you keenly observe, the purchasing function is not involved, because for your customer order, they may not specifically purchase anything for themselves. They purchase in bulk. Maybe it is not specific for your car order. That is why purchasing is not involved. Otherwise, purchasing department takes care of the purchasing of raw material, purchasing of lot of things needed for the organization. And there is one more process we will look into for you to understand much better. You have a material process. In material process, what happens? You need a material. When you need a material, then all this purchasing department, this production department, all these things come into picture. The purchasing department, the first request comes to the purchasing department, say that some material is needed for the production plant. So they are the ones who raise the purchase request. They will select a vendor, they will raise it, and accounting department pay the money, and it will again source to the logistics, and they pick up the material, or the third party will get the material and give it to the production department. So these processes are very important. These are the processes on which each of these business flows work. Tomorrow, let us get into more business flows, such that we can then we will understand where this accounting and finance modules fall in place in these whole processes. So now, after knowing the functional areas, business function and business processes, it's easy for us to understand what is ERP. So what does ERP do? It integrates process across business functions, right? So sales department, accounts department, purchasing department, we are integrating all this. The information flows end to end. So that is nothing but an ERP. Integrating all the processes need to run their companies within a single system. So all these business functions can be on one system, let us say Oracle or SAP. Okay, so you can choose SAP or you can choose ERP and implement all these business areas using SAP and Oracle. That is why it is a single system. We don't need multiple systems. For example, in a traditional ERP, everybody went for a single system. integrating planning, purchasing, inventory, sales, marketing, finance, and more. You can go on integrating seamlessly. Let us say your organization has, yours is a service industry, yours is a manufacturing industry, you are also taken up a new business, let us say. So we can integrate that business as well with ERP. That's what, if they have some other business functions, we can integrate those business functions with our business functions. So we do such things also in ERP. So once we have clarity on ERP, we will have a question. What are the disadvantages of having this? The advantage is simpler. You can integrate all the business areas, functional areas, and automate a lot of things. Most importantly, it has, by doing that, there is a complete visibility. That means you have the same data everywhere, and that data is visible throughout the organization. For example, the Honda car sales head sitting in Delhi can run few reports, can log in and run few reports and understand what's happening in Hyderabad sales office. So he can take decisions. So that is the power of this ERP. Somewhere somebody sitting in United States can check my performance. How is this guy is doing? How is he performing? How did he perform last year? How did he perform this year? So that information is available throughout. So that visibility of information is there. Better planning and reporting. When you have that level of data visible across the organization, what is the advantage? Better planning. You can do a better planning and you can do a better reporting. If the sales head in Delhi understands what's happening in Hyderabad sales, he can take some decisions. He can say the sales is bad, let us close this down. Or the sales is high, these guys are not able to handle this sales, there are too many orders, let us do something different. So that gives an advantage for the managers in the top level, CEO, CFOs to take some decisions based on the reports they run. And you have data accuracy and security. Data accuracy is, once you enter the data is available throughout, and that will be accurate. For example, when you go to a Honda showroom and when you book a car, he will take down your address, he will take down your to whom you have to deliver, to which place he has to deliver. So the information is available at the time of booking itself. So the shipping and delivery department need not worry to whom to ship, to whom to contact, whom to call for the delivery and all that. They have the information. The sales guys enter all the information that is available to the accounting department, purchasing department, manufacturing department. It is available everywhere. So the data is accurate. There is no duplicacy. Once entered, it lies there. And the security. Security is a very big concept in ERP systems. Data security. It's not about logging into through a browser and ID or a password. It's much more than that. So, for example, let us say you have different business functions. The guy who is booking the order need not know about the trail balance of the profits and loss of the organization. The guy who is into sales need not understand the details of the finance department. The guy who is doing shipping and delivery need not understand what sales guys are doing. So this data is further segregated into different levels of security. For otherwise, what happens? There is no security. I can also run some report and understand how my company is doing. Is it making profit or is it making loss? So, as an employee, as a normal employee in one of the functional areas, I need not know that. It's a secret. It's not a secret. There are some specific people to do that. We need not do that. So that segregation of duties and that data security and data access is achieved using security. Next advantage, systemized process. So in earlier days, before this ERP, what used to happen is a lot of manual work used to happen. There was no process which they could implement systematically. Now with this ERP, they have an advantage. The sales guy can log into the same system and book the order, and automatically that information is available to other departments. So the systemized processes are possible. Every organization has to follow some system. Lot of people, lot of the organizations had a lot of manual interventions. That was most of the things were not going wrong, or it was getting delayed. With this ERP, all those things were streamlined. What are the disadvantages? Disadvantages, I would call these as disadvantages, but I would call it as challenges. ERP is a costly affair. Okay, the more powerful software you purchase, the costlier it is. So lot of cost and complexity, because it's a huge software. It is not just one program or one application. It's not an application like where you log into Play Store, download one app, start using it. It's not so easy. It's complex because it's implemented across the organization and it has a lot of functionalities. So complexity is involved. That complexity gives rise to user training. Now in the organization, a lot of guys has to be trained on this ERP before they actually start using it. Otherwise, what happens? They don't know what to enter, what report to run, where to enter, they struggle. So user training is a big cost when you implement an ERP. The last thing is maintenance. This maintenance, I am talking about client server model, where you have to have your own infrastructure team, you have to have your own DBS to maintain the servers and the space requirements and all this. Now with the cloud, this maintenance has reduced. You are relying on the third party like Oracle, Microsoft, or AWS, Amazon, and all that. So the most of the maintenance activities, they do it. We need not even worry about how much space you need, how to maintain that, how to scale up or scale down. It all happens automatically with just few clicks. They take care of most of the maintenance, but still there is certain amount of maintenance that these organizations have to put into these ERPs. For example, maintenance in the sense you have to have some team to address some business issues, some user problems. One guy will come and say that I'm not able to book the order. Can you look into this? So the IT team looks into and helps him book the order. So minimum level of maintenance is required in all these ERPs. Hello, can you please go onward, please? So we have understood the history of ERP. We have understood the business functions, functional areas, business processes, and we understood what are the advantages and disadvantages. Now let us get into past, present, and future. Past was all mainframe, huge systems, huge cost, difficult to maintain, very difficult software applications. So it was all past. Now most of the guys have moved from mainframe to client server during 80s and 90s. But still mainframes are used. It's not that it's entirely past. Still mainframes are used because those are much powerful machines. And mainframes are mostly used by banking, finance, insurance companies. So most of the banks, most of the insurance companies, most of these stockbrokers, stock exchanges are still on mainframe. So it's not totally out, it's there. But some of the things they moved on to client server. So the present is client server. Still lot of organizations are on Oracle ERP, PeopleSoft, regular client server applications. Now they are slowly moving on to cloud. This is where there is a lot of business in cloud. A lot of people now with the COVID are feeling it's a necessity. We have to go to the cloud to cut the cost. We cannot, the people movement has reduced. Everybody are sitting at home and working. Nobody could go to office and perform their business functions. So that is when they started feeling that this is very important now. It is important. They felt that importance, but now they are urgently pursuing it. In cloud ERP, we have public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Yesterday, Satish has explained these things. Let me explain from the ERP perspective. Public cloud is something like Gmail. You log in with your ID password and start using it. You doesn't know where your mail resides. You doesn't know where your Google Drive resides. When you store the Google photos, you doesn't know where it goes and sits. So it's all public. It's somewhere in Hyderabad or Bombay, Delhi, United States. We don't know. That information is kept, out of your control, because as long as things are available to you, you are fine. They are maintaining it and it is available. So those kind of things are called public cloud. What is private cloud? Private cloud is some organizations, they want a specific data, storages for themselves. They don't want to be in public. For example, some banking, insurance, these guys, they say we cannot be on a public cloud. Someone might hack it, or there'll be a loss of information. It's a risk. We don't know whether it will be hacked or it will be, fail, but we don't want to take risk. We want to have a separate servers for ourselves. So that is nothing but private cloud. So we install private cloud for such customers. We have hybrid model. Hybrid model has a lot of combinations. For example, a guy is on client server, regular ERP, where the organization has IT department, infra department, where they are maintaining the servers. They have the systems in their location. They want to go for cloud. They don't want to go for cloud in one go. They feel that let us go only for HR activities. HR is not much risk for me. So let me go for only HR activities for cloud. So what they do, they purchase only HR cloud. And all other things remain on their regular ERP, and only HR remains on the cloud. Like, this is why this Salesforce, this Workday, and all these things have clicked. They said, we have a separate product. We are masters of HR. Workday is a master of HR, and Salesforce is master of CRM. So you can take our product and you can integrate with your client server systems with other functional areas. So that's how this hybrid model picked up. People who are not willing or deferred their plans are on hybrid model. They said, we'll go one by one. Let us not go to the cloud straight away. Let us have first HR on cloud, then sales on cloud, then slowly, then at the end we'll move the finance and other things, manufacturing onto the cloud. So this hybrid, lot of guys are on this hybrid model. Big organizations, all the big organizations are on hybrid model. They are not entirely on private cloud or entirely on public cloud. Small companies are entirely on public cloud. Medium-sized companies have combination of both. What is the future of ERP? When future of ERP, when I say AI, it is artificial intelligence. I didn't mean artificial intelligence ERP. I didn't mean that a separate product that is coming called artificial intelligence ERP. No, I didn't mean that. Artificial intelligence is some intelligent programs. Much intelligent programs, much powerful algorithms than what we write. That is nothing but artificial intelligence. So these powerful programs and these powerful algorithms are implemented into the business flows, implemented in the business functions and across functional areas. I will give you an example. For example, you might have found some of your friends or your college accounting department or some organization guys who are working in accounting department, finance department, they sit late night during a month end, quarter end and year end. So what they do is they reconcile things during that time, month end, quarter end and year end. So they will check what all the things that has happened in that month, how much money they received, how much they spent, how much is left, how much is still required for the next month. So for all such things, they consolidate the things. They will do a month end things, and they will keep the things ready for the next month. So that is why you find a lot of accounting, finance department people sitting during month end. A lot of sales guys sitting on month end. They say they'll be very busy. They said, no, month end, I am not free, so I can't come out. There is a lot of work. So month end, quarter end, year end, these are all big activities for these organizations. With this AI, what they have done is they have tied up with different organizations who are developing, who are specifically into these AI products, and they are automating these things. For example, month end is automated. Month end is totally automated. Some of the guys have automated the month end in the sense that nobody need to be in the office. The program kicks off by itself by month end. It consolidates. It reconciles everything, and it sends the reports to everyone by Monday. By Monday morning, everything is ready. So there is no manual involvement to do. The guys who were in the finance department who used to sit late at night to do all these things, that is not required. They can happily go home, and these powerful programs take care of all those things. In SAP and Oracle as well, lot of testing, like a product, a new feature has come, lot of testing has to be done. So that requires a lot of people involvement, testers involvement. So such things are also, these guys are automating using AI. So a lot of testing things are automated using AI. So future is implementing artificial intelligence, building artificial intelligence more into ERP. That is the future as of now. I am not talking about 20 years, 30 years down the line. This is the current feature. Before I get into the real-time things, I would like to stop here, and if anybody has questions, can please ask. Do you have any questions or? Hello? Is anybody there? Or only me talking?
Anand, please you continue, Anand.
Pardon me? Okay, we'll just go ahead. Please go on mute. Okay, there is a lot of disturbance. Not able to hear you. What you are saying? Okay, let's move ahead. Let's move ahead, and we'll allocate more time during. Park all your questions. We'll allocate more time at the end. I'll happy to answer all. Next, let us come to the projects. Now, an organization decides to go for an ERP, whether it is a SAP or Oracle. They will decide based on their business needs and based on their research, the cost and all things they evaluate, and finally they go for an ERP product. So when the ERP product, when they purchase it, it is a project for somebody else. It is a project for them, and it is a project for others too, because there are a lot of consulting organizations which implement those things, and similar kind of involvement is there from the organization also. So we can majorly categorize these projects into these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 types, 5 types. So implementation projects where you are implementing everything new. You're on client server, you are going on to cloud, so it's a new implementation. You're on some Fox Pro, you are coming to cloud, it's a new implementation. You're on mainframe, you're coming onto a cloud, it is a new implementation. So that big shift that we do from one system to another, that time we call it as an implementation project. We have rollout projects. Rollout projects are, we already have an ERP implemented, it's running fine and it's working fine, but we want to implement for another country. You have your unit somewhere in Philippines, so you want to roll out whatever you have done in United States to the Philippines location. So that is called a rollout. So it can be a country rollout, it can be another business unit rollout, or it can be sometimes acquisitions rollout. Similar, these organizations acquire some other companies of the same type, so they implement the similar things to those acquired company as well. So rollout projects are also there. Big organizations have these rollout projects where they have their functional areas and business functions in multiple countries. We have enhancement projects. These primarily come when you already have a project implemented. It's working fine. It's giving a lot of value to you, but still the business users need something else. Small enhancements or something has changed. And they need and some new feature they want to implement. So that is when these enhancement projects come into picture. For example, Y2K. Y2K initially thought it's just some date problem and we have to change the date. That's it. No big deal about it. But later on, they realized that the impact of it was huge. They had earlier they thought it's just a small enhancement project. Just go ahead and open the application program and change a few dates, it will work. But later on, they have realized that it's a huge problem. That problem is everywhere in every system. So they have to change a lot of dates. So that enhancement project had become a huge implementation project. So everybody started changing dates and every organization were majorly into it because year 2000 was coming. So enhancement project can become a bigger project. Otherwise, enhancement project can be a simple UI, the application customization, or they need a few additional reports, some extra information on the screen. These small things are considered as enhancement projects. And we have support projects. Support projects these come under mostly in client server and mainframe. In cloud, this also got reduced because most of the things are supported by the vendor. The Oracle, it can be Oracle or Amazon or whoever it is. But still some level of support is needed. So IT team will be there. Internal IT teams will be there to assist the business users and business to help them do the business seamlessly, to understand new features, to analyze those and all these things. These support projects will be always there. We have upgrade projects. We call upgrade when we had in Oracle we had a 11 version. Then Oracle came up with another version 11.3, then they came up with 11.7, then they came with 11.9, 11.10, and they came up with a new release called R12. So from 11.3 to 11.5, 11.5 to 7, 11.5 5 to 10, all these things are called dot upgrades. It's a small upgrade. I mean, not major impact will be there on the existing projects. It will be a small upgrade. There will be some additional features, some additional things to be done. So those are taken as dot upgrades. So when level 8 to R12, when these companies come up with a new release, they add a hell lot of features. They add a lot of things to that. Sometimes they change the entire UI. Sometimes they change the technology. A lot of things happen. So those become version upgrades. Those are called version upgrades. So in upgrade projects, we have dot upgrades and we have version upgrades. So release upgrades. So smaller ones are called dot upgrades. When from one release to another release, if we go, that is called a major upgrade. So these are all the type of projects which any consulting organization or revenue organization have it. We will primarily focus on implementation projects. This is where most of the ERP projects currently are falling into, because people are moving from client server to cloud. So let us stress on implementation projects. So when I call implementation project, there can be types of implementation. It can be a big bang or it can be a phased rollout. Let me give an example, a smaller example for you to understand. Let us say you have your college has a compound wall, and there was, in the video I saw there is a lot of water somewhere around it. There was huge rain and that water got in and your compound wall got damaged. It fell off. So you don't have a compound wall in one of the place. It is important for you to have that compound wall. So, okay, let me take a different example. You have a lot of admissions. This time you have a lot of admissions, a lot of students joined in. The classrooms are not enough. So you have decided to go for a new block, construct a new block. So the existing blocks classrooms are full. Now you have a lot of students, you have to go for a new block. So you start constructing the new block. When you construct a new block, what you can do is, you can construct you have decided to construct some 5 classrooms or 10 classrooms, and you want to move the final year students to that new block. So you can construct the whole block at once. Like you can raise a building, you can construct all the 10 classrooms at once and then move the students to that block. That is a big bang approach. In one go, you are doing the things. What is a phased rollout? Phased rollout is when you plan it differently, when you do things differently based on your budget. It could be budget or it could be your business decision. It can be anything. Phased rollout is you will start the block, but you will not construct all the classrooms at once. You will keep classroom one, you will construct classroom 1 and then move first year students there. You will construct classroom 2, move the second year students there. You construct another classroom, you move the final year students there. So it is a phased approach. It is called a phased approach. When do we go for a big bang and when you go for phased rollout? It completely depends on business decisions, budgets, and planning. So big bang has some advantage, disadvantage, and phased rollouts has some advantage and disadvantage. We'll talk about it later. So in ERP implementations as well, like how you have constructed your new block and new classrooms, and how you are planning to accommodate the final year students or BSc computer students to the new block. Same way in ERP implementations also, what organizations do is they purchase an ERP, but they will not purchase the entire ERP at once, or they purchase in bits and pieces. For example, only HRMS will be implemented initially. Once the HRMS is ready, then they will implement the finance. Once the finance is ready, then the necessary other function areas will be implemented. So I won't say it's a module wise, it's a business process wise. For example, only sales process you want to implement. So whatever the modules that fall under the sales process, you will implement first in phased rollout. And next, customer order process. So the customer order process, when you say customer order, then order management team comes into picture and all those. So you will implement that process. So phased rollouts, a lot of people take that approach. In Big Bang, what happens is that you have purchased a ERP product, and you would like to implement all at once and go live, start using it all at once. So Big Bang is like you parallelly implement HR, accounts, purchasing, finance, all the modules at once, and at some point of time in a year, you will say, okay, now let's go live. Let's stop the old system. Let's move on to the new system. So from January 2021, let us say, everybody starts using all the functional areas, all the users will start using the ERP project. That is Big Bang. So hope you have understood Big Bang and phased rollout. So these are the two types of implementation types majorly fall into in implementation projects. So whether it is a Big Bang or it is a phased rollout, the pricing model you have to choose. You have to choose a pricing model. I will explain you with whatever compound wall example I have taken. I will extend that. I will relate that here to this such that you can easily understand. So what is a pricing model? Now I have told you that there was a lot of rains in Kurnool and a lot of water got into your college and the compound wall fell off. You have to construct the compound wall that time, but you don't have money due to COVID. Lot of students could not pay the money, or there was a delay in payments. There is not much cash on hand, so it could be a lot of problems. There could be a lot of problems. So you don't have enough money. You have only 1 lakh rupee in your hand, but you have decided that you are reopening the college on October 1st. So you have only 1 month time. You have only 1 lakh rupee on hand, and you have only 1 month time. So when you have a fixed budget, when you have fixed timeline, we go for fixed price projects. So in fixed price, what you do, you don't want to get into all the details of how it will be constructed, what cement will be used, from where you should get the cement, where should you get the brick. You will not be involved in all those things. You say you will call one of the contractor, or you will call one of the Mestri and said, hey, here I have 1 lakh rupee I'm giving to you, and I have 1 month time. By October 1st, you have to construct the compound wall. How you do it, what you do it, it's up to you. You handle it, you take whatever you want. I have only 1 lakh rupee and 1 month time. So in that scenarios, what that guy does is, he will manage everything. You are not involved. He will manage everything, and he will construct a wall for you, and that wall will be available on October 1st by the time students come into your college. In time and material, what happens is, when you have money, enough money, and when you want to implement in a normal manner, when you have a lot of time, you go for time and material pricing model. Here, what happens is, unlike the same compound wall, you can construct both in fixed price and time material. In fixed price, you are giving a contract to the contractor or a Mestri and getting it constructed. In time and material, your involvement will be more. You will be managing lot of things. You will say that, boss, you are getting some elephant brand cement. I don't want that. I need Rasi cement. This brick quality is not good. Get me a good brick. You tell me how much money, extra money you need. So you are involving yourself more because you have more money on hand and you are not worried about the time. October 1st may not be the deadline. So you construct a wall, it can get delayed, but construct a good wall as per my requirements. So there is a difference between a fixed price and a time material. So all the implementation projects, all these projects, all this whatever this ERP or any other projects too, the organization have to choose one of these models because based on their money and time. So let us understand more about the fixed price model. In fixed price model, you have limited features. You will say only that part I need it, not more than that. You have clear requirements. Your clear requirements in terms of you say construct this wall here. This is the amount and this is the time. You have limited budgets and determined deadlines. You need the compound wall by October 1st. That's it. You have no scope for extending that. And minimum value product, that is called MVP. In fixed price model, what happens is in ERP, a lot of modules will be there. So you will implement something which delivers minimum value and which is required to run your minimum business. That much only you will implement. So fixed price model is primarily used in MVP when the MVP minimum value things are to be implemented, or you have limited budget, or timelines are very tight and all that. So what are the pros and cons of fixed price model? In pros, the advantages are predictability. You know that you need a compound wall, you know the time and you know the budget. So that is the predictability you can have. You need not worry where to get extra money because you have decided that you will construct the wall within that budget. Transparency in the sense that you and your Mestri has agreed to some things predefined. So you have a transparency. Ease of management. You are not involved in constructing that wall and your involvement is very less. That guy takes care of it. Only thing you need is when you come on October 1st, you have to have the compound wall. That's it. You are not managing anything here. Cons. The disadvantages are lack of flexibility. Like you will not have flexibility because you don't have enough money. You cannot go anything extra. You can't do anything extra, or you don't have time. You have time constraint. So whatever gets constructed should be within October 1st. So you don't have that flexibility. Accountability in the sense that we have a very less accountability in the sense that we don't worry what brick he's using, what cement he's using, how he's constructing. We don't get into because the management thing is less. So that way, that guy what he does in that 1 lakh rupees, he will try to manage. He will squeeze the profit in that. So that is one of the disadvantage. He might use some, instead of large cement, he will use some elephant brand cement. Instead of a good brick, he may use average brick. So that is the disadvantages. So those are the advantages and disadvantages of fixed price model. So what is time and material model, and when to use, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of time and material model? In time and material model, you need a compound wall and you can be fancy about it. You have a lot of time, you have a lot of money, so you can say I need a better quality of compound wall, better quality of cement to be used, better quality of bricks to be used. So you have that flexibility. That flexibility will be there, and you are willing to manage the things. You say once you are getting something else, you get a proper cement from this place. It will be good. It will be a long-term project because there are no specific timelines. So you will say that, you know, we can have our own time in constructing that wall, and you can have dynamic requirements. Once the wall is constructed, let us say you want to have a electric fencing, because you have budget, you have money, you can have that requirement. You can have that electric fencing as well on that compound wall. So the requirement was to just build a compound wall. Now the requirement was to have a electric fence as well after it is constructed. So you can accommodate a lot of things, while achieving that. So those are the advantages and disadvantages also. The advantage is, the flexibility. The flexibility, you have it because you have time and money. You have dynamic work scope. This is also because you can change things in between. Better timing. You can say, okay, fine, need not be on October 1st. You can take some more time and build me a good wall with electric fencing. So you can choose your time. Disadvantage, low budgeting control. Low budgeting control, when you have money, you will spend freely. So that controlling the budget is very much necessary. If you are weak at that, you will end up spending more money on the compound wall. You will have deep involvement. In fixed price, you have given contract to the contractor and you are done. He will construct it for you. Here you are involving yourself more. You do this, you do that. Why you have done like this? Why you have done like this? Why you have used this? Why you have not used that? So your involvement will be there. So that eats away your time. Your principal or vice principal or your management staff, they have to keep aside their regular activities, the college, and they have to look after what is happening to the compound wall. So that involvement, because that involvement is there, the people who are involved in that are little bit overloaded with the regular college activities, and also they have to look after the compound wall progress. Now we have understood what is implementation, what are the type of projects, what are the models in which these projects will be implemented. Let us come to the phases of implementation. These phases you already know. I think you might be knowing SDLC, right? Software Lifecycle Development Lifecycle. So the same way, all these projects will be executed in the SDLC model. There are other models also, like Scrum model, Agile model, all these things. I'm not covering that because you can relate these things better because you have already studied. Coming to the phases of implementation, these are all the primary phases. We can have additional phases also in between as per our requirements, but these are the prime phases which we have. The planning phase, that is when you do a lot of planning, how to go about it, how to start, when to start, how do you plan your resources, how do you plan your money, how do you get money from where, how do you spend it. All that planning happens in the planning phase. Analysis phase is when you have to analyze your business process, you have to understand it, and you have to understand how the ERP product is, whether that caters to your needs, how you have to fit it, because ERP implementation is a huge thing that works for an aircraft engine manufacturer, and it works for a Honda car manufacturing also. It works for a very big industry like Airtel, and it works for a small industry, somewhere in Hyderabad. So you have to configure it differently for a different organization based on the volume and their business. So all that thing happen analysis. We will look into that analysis phase in much deeper in the next slides. And the design. The design comes when we analyze a lot of things have to be designed. So design phase comes into picture. Configuration and build. After the design phase, lot of things are to be built. So the build phase comes into picture. And you have system integration testing. System integration testing comes when your ERP system communicates with outside world. For example, you have implemented an ERP system and you are paying salaries. When you are paying salaries, maybe you are not directly paying it. You have given that payroll processing to the third party called ADP. There are a lot of third party vendors. So that guy will generate the payroll for you, but still the money goes out from your pocket. The information ADP needs and the information you need from ADP has to be integrated from the third party. So in such scenarios, we have interfaces. We'll get into those things in detail. So when you have such integrations, you need system integration testing, and also within the modules, the information flows, the data flows within the modules from HR to finance, sales to finance, and purchasing, manufacturing, and all these things. The information flows. So all these modules put together have to be tested. That is nothing but system integration testing. So outside world has to be tested with your ERP, and within your ERP, all the modules together, how these things are talking to each other, those things have also to be tested. So those things come under system integration testing. Now you have another testing called user acceptance testing. Now you have built, you have analyzed, you have designed, you have configured it, you have wrote some programs, lot of things. Finally, it has to be accepted by the business users. That is when this user acceptance testing comes into place. So business users, they test the implementation, they test the things and say, this is fine for us, this is what we are looking for, and this is what is needed for us. If they say, no, this is not up to the mark, we need something more, or this is not enough. So that is when, again, lot of things start. So the user acceptance testing could be a go or a no-go. In the sense, they may approve it or they disapprove it. When you approve it, you will go ahead with when to bring the system up and when everybody start using it. When they don't approve it, then we have to get into the details of it. What is the problem? They didn't like some of the features, or the features which you implemented is not enough, or they want something more. So based on their decision, the go live happens. The go or no go decision will be primarily based on the user acceptance. And of course, other factors will also be there for go live. But UAT is a very prime thing that we'll consider it. So let us get deeper into analysis and design phase. In analysis and design phase, as I told you, ERP is a very huge thing. It can be implemented for anybody. It can be implemented to a ship manufacturer, and it can be implemented to a small business which is next to your house, right? So before we implement or if we start anything, we have to understand what is their current business. What do they do? What kind of business they are doing? Whether they have manufacturing, they have sales, they have purchasing, what are they doing? So we have to understand their business processes in detail. That study is called as is. Most of the functional guys, when I say in ERP projects, we have functional guys and we have technical guys and we have managers. Managers are mostly into project planning and what project needs, budget, all those things will be taken by the management team. The functional teams, they get into understanding the business. These guys will be mostly MBAs, chartered accountants, ICWAs, industry experts. These are the guys who get into this, and along with the business users in the organizations, they talk to them, they document, they discuss, they have meetings, they demonstrate the product, and they understand what their current business is. That is called as is. Now, once they understood what they have, the next challenge is to know what we should do to have that, to improve that, to automate that, to systemize that, all that to be what is as is and what it should be tomorrow comes under to be analysis. This gives rise to gap analysis. Gap analysis is that you have, let us say you have gone to a Honda showroom and you have booked a car, you liked it, everything is fine, but you don't want the normal wheels, you want alloy wheels. You have checked the music system, that's you feel that that's not great. Can I have a better music system fitted into my car? Or you will check the seat covers. You said no, these seat covers are not up to my taste. Can I have leather seat covers? So these are all the things which are gaps. Gaps in the sense, gap need not be a typical business gap. It could be a lot of things. So these are the things which gives rise to the customization. It could be a functional customization or it could be technical customization. If it is a functional customization, then functional guys design the business process in a different way. You are doing something like this, let us do something different, let us do like this. That will improve your process. So that is called functional design. In technical design, mostly, a new report. I said these reports are not enough for me, give me different kind of reports. Or you add some features to these reports. Or you say the screen is great, everything is fine, but I need an additional space to store my marks information or a rank information. You provide me something where I can put that. So those things come under technical design. Configuration and build phase. So in configuration, what happens? Configuration is something you have purchased an ERP. It's a huge product. You have to configure it as per your business needs. So as I told you, that ERP works for anybody. It's a product. A product is something which works for you, which works for me, which for a smaller organization, which can work for bigger organization as well. So that has to be configured as per your business needs, as per your business. So that is called configuration, functional configuration. These guys set up that product. For example, you purchase a TV. That guy delivers the TV to your house. You open the pack and you will change all the settings. You will change the settings as per your requirements. That is nothing but a configuration. So ERP also does a lot of configurations to start before you start using it. We have conversions. Conversions is like, let us say now you have a new block, you have all the 10 classrooms ready, you have to shift people, you have to shift some of the things to the new block. Some furniture, it could be laptops, or it could be stationery, or the people themselves. So moving from one place to another requires the data movement in ERP. So that data from the old system has to be brought into the new system because you are running the old system. You have all the data in your old system. You have all your financial reports. You have all your financial data, your sales data, your order data in your old system. You can't leave it there and you can move on to the new system. You lose information. You lose data. So you have to bring in all that information to your new system and then start using it. You cannot lose last 3 years, 4 years data just like that. So you will bring all that information into your new system. That is called conversion. The interface. Interfaces are, like I told you, you may not run a payroll. You may run a payroll, or you can give it to a third party called ADP. Or what you can say, Amazon, if you take Amazon, they don't stock everything. They will give it to third party. That fellow will take a go down somewhere outside the city and they maintain it. Or your organization pay money, but the payment happens through the bank. You will not directly pay the bank. All the transactions happen through bank and bank accounts. So there is some outsiders communicating with your ERP. There will be a lot of outsiders who will be communicating with your system. So that data has to flow in and flow out. Those are called interfaces. The data that goes out of your ERP is called outbound. We build outbound interfaces. For example, how many employees you have, you are giving it to ADP. So that's an outbound. So you are giving your employee information to ADP. What comes into your ERP is called inbound. For example, bank pays some amount to your suppliers or whatever. That guy will tell back how much money he has, from which account has gone out and all things, and that information getting into your system so that you can reconcile it. UI customizations, user interface customizations. User interface customizations are nothing but the screen customizations. You want the screen to be look good or look different, or you need some enhancements to those screens. So all those things happen on UI customizations. Report customizations are reports. Predefined, pre-built reports, lot of these ERP products, they give a lot of inbuilt reports. You already have a lot of reports. You already have a lot of built-in reports. But still you need something else. You need a new report altogether, or you need a change in the report they provided. So all those things come under report customizations. You have workflow customizations. These workflows, let me give an example. Your principal every year during the time of October, he goes to Delhi for some conference. He will not be available for 1 month. So during that time, your vice principal takes over the in charge of the college. He or she will look after the activities and all that, while your principal is busy attending the conference. Now you are one person less. The principal is in conference, vice principal is taking care of everything. She has to do her duties and she has to do principal duties as well. So she doesn't have time. So she can say, route all the leave requests of the staff to Latarani madam. So I can build a workflow. Workflows will be there. Predefined workflow will be there. When you apply a leave, it goes to your head of the department, then it goes to your principal, he will approve it, then only you can take a leave. So such flows will already be there, but you are changing the flow based on your requirements. Now the requirement is your principal is out of station, your vice principal is overloaded. So your principal and vice principal wants Latarani madam to approve all those requests. So we can route all those requests in the absence of principal to Latarani madam. So Latarani madam can approve all those requests, and on top of that, she checks in detail and she approves it. So that flow can be customized. Those are called workflows. So a lot of workflows will be there in these things. This is how a lot of information flows into business process. Who will approve? What will approve? For example, sales guy raises order. It goes to his boss. He will check it. He will approve it. Or in a bank, a clerk will issue something, his boss will check it, then it will go to his bank manager, he will approve it. All these things happen through workflows. So let us come to ERP skill set. This is most important for the students. I thought of putting some own slides here, but I found one guy who has collated a lot of information and he has put on it. So I thought that's a better one to show it to you than I preparing it something my own. So let me show this. This guy has done good amount of work. So this guy is Mahesh Kumar, somebody. I found this stuff on internet and I found it very useful, and this will be very useful for you. So you have functional modules, you have traditional ERP, that is a client server ERP, on-premise ERP, and you have a cloud ERP. So this first slide talks about the functional side of it. If you want to go onto a functional side of implementations and ERP, you have to be more onto a MBA side or an industry side, or if you specifically want to get into finance, you have to. It's better to have a finance degree like MBA finance. If you want to go deeper, become a business analyst, you can do a lot of chartered accountants, ICWAs get into these functional roles. So every module or every business functional area has a lot of stuff. So you can choose as per your expertise, you can as per your interest and get into these areas. This is on the cloud side. The cloud, a lot of new things have come up in cloud. So, for example, if you take the Internet of Things, IoT devices. Now, these ERPs are tightly integrated with IoT things, and a lot of new things like mobile applications. All these things have come. So there are some new areas, both from functional side and technical side. So functional guys can get into this IoT and all this stuff. What is there for technical guys? Technical guys in traditional ERP, you usually use Oracle, SQL, PLSQL, forms, reports. For screens, you some OAF, ADF, these kind of technologies. For business processes, you use BEPL. For middleware, you use SOVA, and all that stuff. On Fusion side, you have majorly reporting, you have intelligent reporting, you have regular reporting, you have transactional reporting, you have interfaces, you have all these web services. Now cloud is all net and all that, so you have to have a lot of cloud knowledge, know more about mobile stuff, because all this ERP, you can book an order through mobile, you can raise a request through mobile. All these things are through mobile and IoT devices, so it's very much needed to know about these web technologies, mobile technologies. So this is a very good slide that guy has prepared, so which is very exhaustive, and this is very useful. I will send all these things to you, to Latarani madam. She will forward it to you. Sorry. So apart from that, whatever I've shown you, the skill set required for both functional side and technical side, there are something new, those are coming up. when I said the future is artificial intelligence, lot of business processes are getting automated. So AI become has this remote processing automation has picked up. Automation anywhere, UiPath, Blue Prism. These are the latest stuff which you need to know uh, along with ERP. Just ERP is not that much fetching. Along with ERP, if you have knowledge of these web technologies, mobile technologies, and any of these, RPA, remote processing automation, it will be very helpful. It will give a good amount of mileage. You can implement a lot of things using this. Now, what is happening is this Oracle, SAP, all these things are tying up with these companies which are masters in remote processing automation. For example, Automation Anywhere is one product, UiPath is one product, Blue Prism is one product. So recently, Oracle has tied up with Automation Anywhere and UiPath. They are automating a lot of stuff. This is something which you can learn independently without even knowing ERP also. You can learn these technologies. For example, you can automate a lot of things within Excel, within what the current things which you are doing in your regular work, you can automate it using UiPath. So I suggest that you start picking it up, because by the time you pick it up and by the time you get into jobs, this will be even much latest stuff will come. It's better to have any artificial intelligence or RPA knowledge. So having said that, we always talk about latest stuff and current market. You have to pick up something which other guys are doing it. We are very fancy about new technology, IoT, mobile, and all that, artificial intelligence. And sometimes we ignore the basic things. For example, I have been talking for 1.5 hours, and you say that I didn't understand what you're talking. So the whole thing goes waste. You have studied 3 years of BSc, 2 years of MBA, and all that. You get into an interview, and that guy says your degrees are fine, certifications are fine, but your English is not great. So why do I take you? So you get knocked out in interview. So what we do is we learn a lot of the latest stuff. We are up to date. We get to know about the market. We learn new things and all that, but we ignore very basic things. The most important tool that everybody, from project manager to a business user to an implementation expert or a functional user, which is the most widely used tool, it is MS Excel. You will be surprised. So MS Excel, Microsoft Excel is something which is readily available on your desktop, on your laptops, and now even on mobiles, but we hardly look at it. We say it's easy, nothing great. What is there to learn? Let me learn artificial intelligence. Excel is fine. What's big deal about it? But how much ever these things evolve, how much ever these things automate, the basic tool that are used is MS Office. When you prepare documents, you widely use Microsoft Word. When you prepare data and when you give a data to business user, first thing is can you give me it in Excel? I can analyze it in Excel. So the functional users, they do check the data. We technical guys, I being a technical guy, I ask the data in Excel. I quickly put some analysis and I can quickly understand how the data is. So we use a lot of Excel. So these skills are also very important. I suggest you please don't ignore these products. These tools are as important as artificial intelligence and anything else. So I suggest you have a good hold on MS Excel, Word, and PowerPoint, all these things. Whenever you have free time, there are a lot of courses on Udemy. You can download, you can purchase for 300, 400 rupees. There are a lot of beautiful courses on Excel. You go through it, you can keep trying it. When you try Excel and all that, you will do a lot of things very easily in ERP implementation. For example, I realized this when I started learning ERP. That is when I realized it. Lot of things are happening in MS Excel. Come on, I ignored all these years. I thought it's an easy thing, and anytime I can learn. But when I started the project, this everybody were using MS Excel. So I took some time and learned a lot of things in Excel. Now I am very good at Excel. Lot of things I do in Excel. So having said that, please don't ignore the basic skills, the Microsoft Office, your communication skills, your presentation skills. At the end of the day, one should understand what you're speaking, one should understand, appreciate what you're presenting, and it should be to the point. So these are the things, along with all the latest technologies, you should have. So I have 15 minutes. How much time I have? So please shoot questions. I'll be happy to answer.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. I'm Rajni Kiranmai. I'm going to ask the queries on behalf of the participants, sir. So, am I audible?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Ma'am, sir, one of the participant named Shiva, he has a question like for ERP, which is the best database, like MS SQL or SQL or Post GRE SQL or Oracle SQL, sir?
There is no best database as such. Every product has their own stuff. For example, Oracle uses Oracle database. SAP uses something else. So everybody has their own. In what you are getting into is what matters. There is no good database or bad database. For example, now Microsoft has come with Azure Cloud, and can you please go on mute, please? Please, thank you. So now Microsoft has also come up with ERP. They are using SQL Server. They have enhanced database. They have enhanced their database, and they have built their ERP on that database. Oracle has a traditional. It started with a database company, so we have a very strong database. So entire Oracle is an Oracle database. So there is nothing like good or bad. It depends on what you are doing for it. Yeah, please, next question.
The next question from Armili, sir. Can we convert data from one ERP to another ERP? Say, example, Tally ERP to SAP ERP.
Yes. And it is what conversion is all about. You can bring whatever data is there into any system to ERP. From any system, it could be Tally, it could be Foxpro, it could be SAP, or it could be any. You can bring the data using conversions.
That's all of the queries for this session, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So, any questions from the staff, or we have a lot of time left? Did I cover it fast, or did you guys understand, or did I cover it fast?
ఎలా స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి అప్రోచ్ ఎలా అండ్ విల్ ఇట్ బి యూస్ఫుల్ ఫర్ దెం ఒరాకిల్ ఆల్రెడీ బేస్ ఉండాలి అది కూడా అడగండి
Anand? Hello.
Yeah, Latarana. Yeah.
If BCom students want to learn these basics, how can they learn?
Basics of what?
This ERP or Oracle projects like that.
Okay, you are talking specific to finance or in general?
Oracle Financials itself.
Okay, so basically, I have showed you one PPT, right? That guy has exhaustively put all the technologies. So if you want to become a functional consultant, you have to be more on the business side, where you will understand the business processes and how these organizations work. So that is a functional area. If you want to get into, if you want to get into the technical side, you have to learn SQL. You have to start with, if it is Oracle ERP, you have to start with SQL, then PLSQL, and now for reporting, BI publisher and all these things, OTBI reporting. So it's always good to have, just being a technical consultant is not enough. We have to understand the business process. So that is why the ERP techno-functional has more value. Techno-functional. You need to know more about functional and also technical. So if you know both, then you're good in the market. So techno-functional guys who can understand the business, who can configure it, and they can do technical things, they are a demand in the market.
Thank you, Anand.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, is there any demo version for Oracle Financials, sir?
We have, but I don't have any training instance with me, so I could not show you any training instance. But you can have some training stuff. Now a lot of guys are hosting those things, and you can pay some money and you can use it. You can avail that. I don't have any training instance for me, so I'm not demonstrating any of that instance.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
Those are the questions, Anand. Thank you, Anand, for your wonderful session. I hope all our participants might have enjoyed. I request all the participants to join tomorrow from the last session. Same time, tomorrow the topic is Oracle Financials. Thank you, Anand. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Thank you.